There we go. One of these days, I'm going to figure out how the hell do you um, mirror the image here on YouTube. For anybody who may be watching right off the bat, because you know my image is always reversed here. Let me know anyone that knows how to mirror images on YouTube Live. I just don't know how to do that because people ask me all the time, why the hell are my images reversed on YouTube? And it's not that way on any of my other platforms because I don't know how to do it on YouTube, and I've been forever trying to figure out how, or whatever the case may be. So if you know how to do that, let your boy know. Real quick, I do want to get my other platforms going, so give me about a minute to get YouTube horizontal going, and we will start off momentarily. Um, You see what the monitor behind me has on the screen. So that is indeed what we're going to be talking about. Talking about the fact that Biden may have been lying to the American people. But of course, that's not the only topic we're going to go across. So give me a minute here and we'll talk momentarily. But we're talking about if Biden has been lying to the American people. So, and I guess the other question would be, does it matter? Because a lot of times we discuss things that Trump has said that may or may not have been true, and oftentimes the response, particularly from MAGA, is I don't care. I really don't care if he lied about that or not. So we're going to talk about that as well. So I think I got everything going here. So let me make sure I put in the location here. Should be everything I think that's there. And we should be on very quickly here now. Let's see here. Okay, so we'll go ahead and see if we can start her up. And hopefully, if so, let's see. It's telling me to rotate the damn thing. I hate when, I don't know, for some reason YouTube just doesn't want to play ball in this damn app. I mean, I do what they tell me to do, and this shit just doesn't want to work. Okay, we'll start mid program with YouTube as usual there with the YouTube horizontal, but nevertheless, we'll go ahead and get started in 3, 2, 1. What up, folks? Once again, it is indeed your boy Tim, the handsome liberal. I just want to make sure I get all my devices up and running, and apparently one of them is going to have to be started in the middle of the program. But we're going to be talking about President Biden because he's all over the news. I think just about everybody is aware that he has prostate cancer. But it's not necessarily that he has prostate cancer. It's how far along it is. It's how far along it is. And I guess the question is if there is more to it than just him having prostate cancer and whether or not he was being dishonest to the American people. So having said that, as always, we come with receipts. We come with things we want to talk about. And today is going to be one of those days. We want to start out right off the bat.
Practiced by the White House doctors to miss this? Or is this a case of the American public not being told something that would be very material?
And that's what we're going to be talking about. I want you to hear the actual text of what we're going to discuss is here, though.
Said in that release are so very important because doctors I talk to say that the concept that someone with the level of medical care that the President of the United States receives and the incredible scrutiny and focus on his health that exists, and at the same time, as you put up on the screen, a Gleason score of 9, group 5 with metastasis to the bone, that's something that takes years to happen in the body. It is normally prostate cancer is caught very early. There's going to be an enormous amount of focus as there has been on the president's health and what was known about President Biden's health when he was in office. That is going to be magnified 5 or 10-fold starting tomorrow morning with questions of what did doctors know? When did they know it? What did the First Lady know? When did she know it? And what did Kamala Harris know? And when did she know it?
And that's what we're going to be asking right off the bat. Listening to him discuss what doctors are saying, it is that for you to get as far along, as President Biden is, it takes years. You don't get that as the first diagnosis. Now, they're saying that the Gleason score, as you can see here on the screen, I doubt if you can read it. Certainly on YouTube, it's turned around, but the Gleason score that Biden is getting is a 9. You see here now that's on a scale of 1 to 10. That's how far along his cancer has progressed. And they're out of a scale of 1 to 10, they're giving him a 9. Here's what they have: anything below 5 on the Gleason score is not even considered cancer at all. Number 6 is the cells look normal, but cancer is growing slowly. Your cells are looking normal, but cancer is growing slowly. Number, hang on a second. I just want to put somebody in timeout for just saying the same thing over again. Number 7, if you got a Gleason score of 7, that's an intermediate risk for aggressive cancer. Now remember, Biden's at a 9. An 8, 9, or 10 is cancer is likely to grow aggressively. And that's what they're saying that Biden's cancer is. Now, also, they're stating that it has metastasized and it's in his bones as well. And the general treatment, from what I've heard, now I'm no medical professional, so I don't want to come across as one, but the general treatment for prostate cancer generally can be to remove the prostate. But once it has metastasized and went to other parts of the body, that treatment is obviously no longer just effective because you got cancer in other parts of your body. And Biden has cancer now in his bones. Now, the reason we're bringing this up is because, as I stated, the suggestion is you don't get this far along on the first diagnosis unless, and I put emphasis on unless you are a neglectful person health-wise. Somebody who does not go and get routine checkups and screenings and things like that. Somebody who hasn't been to the doctor in years or something like that. Yeah, you could get a stage 4 diagnosis or something like that in your first go-round. But somebody like Biden, I believe they said the president gets their blood drawn and analyzed every 6 months. So you should not be this far along on your first diagnosis if you've been getting routine screenings and checkups and things like that. And certainly for a guy who is 82 years old, this should not be your first diagnosis, is what they are saying. Like I said, I'm no medical professional, so I'm just simply relaying that information. And I'll give it to you a little bit more clearer.
Such a large point tonight. And we just spoke about this with renowned urologist Dr. David Schusterman on the show, who said that this kind of aggressive cancer with a Gleason score of 9 takes 5 to 10 years to develop in his experience. He says only a man who is medically neglected wouldn't know about it. This is one of the least medically neglected men in the world. Leland, we did not get a PSA score on his health reports. We didn't get them on Trump's either, to be fair. What does it mean if this wasn't a new or sudden surprise diagnosis?
Well, what it means is that he knew already and he wasn't telling the American people. So I'm going to ask you right off the bat, by way of yes or no, how many of you folks believe that Biden knew he was dealing with prostate cancer long before we just received this press release on Sunday? Now, I'm not talking about a month or a week. We're talking about potentially, as they're saying, at least a year or more. How many of you folks believe that he knew he had prostate cancer for quite a while and was not telling the American people, and stating that he was good to run for another 4 years of office? Now, I want to say something that's even worse on this. Prognosis. Anytime you have something like this, what's the prognosis? Doc, will I survive this? The prognosis for someone with prostate cancer at Biden's level, 33% chance he'll live 5 years. 33% chance. That's the prognosis for this. There's a 33% chance he'll live 5 years, which is essentially about a little bit longer than a presidential term. But 33% chance that someone at this stage of advancement for this cancer Now, I don't, obviously, him being 82 years of age may have something. Listen, you could be diagnosed with this shit at my age. I'm in my 50s. They're sticking fingers up my ass nowadays. So understand, you don't need to be 82 to be dealing with this. But when you're 82, fact is, shit hits you harder. Things hit you harder. So 33% survivability at 5 years. 5 years from now, only 33% of the individuals diagnosed at his level will still be around. That's not good. That's not good. So we're going to talk about whether or not you believe he was lying to the American people. And I do want to ask you folks, it's a side topic, but it's going to be relevant to this. Now that Biden is dealing with something very serious, what are the chances that Trump supporters and MAGA will lay off the insults and criticism? Okay, you can criticize his policies and how he ran the nation, but sleepy and what are the chances that MAGA and Trump will off on what could be a man on his deathbed? Or do you think right through it? Who gives a damn? He was not treating Trump fairly. The fact that you're dying doesn't make you off limits. What do you think? So we're going to talk about that. Also, I want to talk about something else that I think is probably not getting the proper due, but this is very important because this could lead to loss of lives. And you'll know immediately the relevance of this after what just took place all across the country this weekend.
Of those, the nation is now in peak severe weather season, but former National Weather Service officials warn staffing cuts could put lives at risk. Recent and proposed cuts mean fewer forecasters tracking dangerous weather. Back on April 17th, tornadoes hit eastern Nebraska, but the Omaha NWS office only launched one weather balloon due to short staffing. That missing data meant forecasters missed early tornado warning signs.
We are generating kind of a Swiss cheese weather service. We have holes throughout the weather service now that are not well thought out.
And now every living former NWS director is warning potential funding cuts could lead to needless loss of life.
Now, this is from April. The reason why I'm bringing this to you is because, doing research for this live, there are literally hundreds of outfits crying out that the Doge cuts with the weather could put people's lives at risk. Now, we just had 20, I believe it's up to 27 people pass away when we had storms over the last couple of days or so strike in Missouri, Virginia, Kentucky. And there are folks in those areas that are saying the reduced staffing of the weather services due to Doge has made it so that some areas have radar gaps and they're no longer getting tornado warnings. They are no longer receiving tornado warnings because they have fired too many folks that normally would tell us what the weather is. So we're going to talk right off the bat is Doge putting the country at risk? Are they really finding waste, fraud, and abuse, or are they doing something that could be more sinister?
June 1st.
Florida typically struggles with hurricanes.
Hurricane season.
Everybody looks at weather.
Has weather software and hardware companies like SDS Weather
It's a resource everybody needs.
pulling data from a range of experts to provide real-time data in a storm.
We integrate with National Weather Service, NOAA.
NOAA, an organization on the radar of Doge cuts. Its research helps the National Weather Service when it comes to determining the strength and location of a storm. But an investigation by our Kate Hussey in March revealed nearly 800 NOAA employees were laid off as part of Doge cuts.
How much do you guys rely on accurate forecasting when you deploy your resources?
We highly rely on it.
Staff with Cat 5 Resources said they use a mix of forecasting sources and data to stage generators and other disaster relief before and after a storm.
It's really important for communities and families to be able to prepare adequately for storms.
The American Meteorological Society is also sounding the alarm on behalf of NOAA, saying cuts could have disastrous consequences for public safety and economic.
Now, literally, all you got to do is type weather and Doge cuts or NOAA or whatever the case may be in Doge. Folks are crying out everywhere. Folks are crying out every damn where that the Doge cuts are putting lives in danger. And I'll go to the box and start taking comments immediately, but I want to ask you this before we do that. Now, make no mistake about it, since Trump became president as of January 20th, there's been a hell of a lot of mishaps in the airline industry. And obviously, they too heavily depend on weather reports. Now, I'm not saying any aircraft crashed or had any issues due to the lack of a weather report, but we know there's an airline industry that did not exist to go under President Biden. You were not having all of these incidents happening that you are now. Now, Trump has claimed adamantly they haven't gotten rid of any air traffic controllers. Fair enough. But they've gotten rid of a hell of a lot of people that work for the FAA. By way of yes or no, how many of you folks believe that the firings of people in the FAA have something to do with all of these issues dealing with airlines? Or do you think it's just a coincidence that all of a sudden Trump took office and we started having all these problems with the airline industry? Or do you believe, as I stated, type yes in the comment, if you believe that it has something directly to do with Elon Trump via Doge firing so many people in that industry? Because there has to be an explanation. Just a few months ago, listen, if you want to talk about, let's say, for instance, let me take a wild subject like border crossings. Border crossings are allegedly down 90% or so since Trump became president. That didn't just happen for the sake of happening. Trump became president, border crossings went down. Well, Trump became president, planes are starting to go down too. Airplanes are starting to go down too. These things happened right around the time he became president. Just a coincidence? What say you? So looking in the comments, we'll start out by saying we can obviously see there's a difference between before you took office and after. 100% true, but is it due to just a sheer coincidence? Or is it due to the actions of Trump? In the comments, for instance, Rafael Garcia says pilots are just crazy, which would lead to the obvious pushback of, were they not crazy under Biden? Trump became president, they just started flying crazy. Boeing has been having issues for years, lack of service, maintenance, etc. Yeah, there's been issues, but it's not like what's happening now. It's not like what's happening now. And listen, we all know if this was happening under Biden's watch, Trump would be asking the same questions I'm asking now. So it's not like this is reaching or speculating. It's questioning what's going on. If Biden took office from Trump in January of 2021 and all of this shit started happening, particularly after he fired a bunch of people in that industry, you think Trump would skip over that? You think Trump would suggest it's just a coincidence? Let me go to the box, tap the screen, get the likes on up to about 15,000, if you will. We'll start the program off right away with the honorable, if I can say it like that, with the one and only one of my subscribers, Gangsta Grandma. Good evening, Gangsta. So,
hey, Girly Pop. You know, you get on my damn nerves all the damn time. You really do.
What the hell did I do today?
You always be doing something. You be beefing and fluffing and everything with your little maggots. You don't give, I promise you, you lost your damn fucking mind. But I'm going to turn your ass another way around, too. Today I will. Fuck around, find out.
I think you just hating for the sake of hating. I ain't said shit today.
I'm hating on you? My fat ass is hating on your bald-headed ass? You funny.
Tell me what if I said or did tell me what if I said or did today in regards to this subject that's got you so upset.
No, not right now. No, but you can add me back later so I can tear your ass a new asshole. That's what I can do.
So you're attacking me proactively?
Yeah, I know you're gonna be kiki and hollering and everything else, these little maggots. You are. You want to let that, what's that MAGA, whatever that little white boy is, you want to let him spew all the hate and shit? You don't call, oh yeah, and another thing is you didn't call that little bitch ass out when he said that, what did he say about that racist shit about he'll still vote for him and he knows that he's a fucking racist? You didn't call that bitch out. If I was on your team and that was your co-host, Me and that little faggot ass trick.
Hey! I don't want you to listen. I don't mind you saying
my
whatever.
bad.
You know that
I didn't mean like
the app will censor you. I don't mind letting you speak, but how can you
No,
call?
he is. He's a bitch boy. He is. He's gonna be my bitch boy at the end. I promise you that.
How can you complain? Wait, hold up. How can you complain any damn body is spewing hate with what's coming out of your mouth?
No, I called him that when he said that about black when he said he'll still vote for him. When he'll still vote for him. And I called him an F word. Should I have said that? No. In the comments, I shouldn't have said that. Because I was irritated. He said he'll still vote for him if he knows that he's a racist.
Well,
he don't
understand, Gangsta Grandma, understand the only other choice if they don't vote for Trump is Kamala Harris, and they damn sure don't think that she's worthy of leading the country. That's why they're saying that.
No, they didn't vote for her. They didn't vote for her because she was an educated black woman. That's why they didn't vote for her.
It's more than that. I mean, you got to look at
it. Let me tell you something about racism. Did you hear what he said, though? Even if he knew that he didn't like black people, he would still vote for her. Yeah,
I mean, and I said I believe that.
And then I told him in the comments, I'll bend you over and you and peg you.
Okay,
and you be my bitch.
For folks who don't realize what she's talking about a previous live where I had a guest on. The guest was MAGA, and he stated that even if Trump, I gave him a hypothetical situation. We're talking about something about racism or whatever, and I talked about he was favoring how Trump is running the country, and he really liked that. And I was asking him if you heard that Trump was caught on a hot mic or something, or even said it publicly, that he did not have a high opinion of people of color, would you still support him? And he said, yeah. I mean, listen, and what I said. And all you said was a fluffing ass, girly pop looking shit. Oh, well, I didn't like that answer. Well, no shit, Sherlock. You should have liked that answer. Well, fact is, Gangsta Grandma, we have a host of presidents throughout our history that are considered as great presidents who were openly basically pro-white. I mean, the founding fathers were not exactly in favor of equality, and they're some of the best presidents we've had. Cut the kiss ass now, okay? Cut it out. How was it kiss ass? What he said he's a racist piece of shit. He is. And I told him I was going to bend his ass over and make him my bitch boy. I sure did. Well, and I would, too. Because white men love that shit. And but see, I will hurt him. Well, and then, on top of anything else, then they want to take our corn away. Who does that shit in the United States of America? Take our corn away. In the same breath, we don't want to be freak no more. We got to be Christian-like. What do you think? That? They want to take, you're talking about pornography. Oh, yeah, I don't like that. Don't say that. Yeah. The corn. They want to take our corn away. See, they don't even want us to be freaky-leakies. They just want us to be basic ass, lay on our backs, spread our legs, and do it like that. They don't even want us to do anything else. Well, that's Christian love right there, isn't it? Then let me go where I normally am. In defense of President Trump, in defense of MAGA, they're not trying to... Hold on. They're not trying to take away adult material. They're trying to keep it out the hands of children. You agree with that, right? No, Texas, they can't have it. They can't have the corn in Texas. Because you know why I know this? Because I have a friend in Texas. And I said, look, fool, go look on, this one site, right? I said, look at a BD, like that, right? And he said, I can't look at it. I said, why you can't look? He said, because they took it away from us. Well, listen. Yeah, don't. I chew at the corn. Hold on. If you live in Texas, you still have access to adult material. No, you don't. They took it away. You're telling me Hot Wheels took it bye-bye. You're telling me hold on. You're telling me if you live in Texas online, you can't get on OnlyFans or anything. You have completely No, can't do it. Nope. Because I promise you, I told go on da-da-da-da-da-da-da because I can't say because I don't want it to be. And they said this. He said you can't do it. I guess somebody, Mr. Mike in the comments says, yes, you do. I just watched it. I don't believe that, gangster.
I don't know. He told me he can't. So I sent him a link. You feel what I'm saying? Say, look at this. You know? But they do. They really do want to take our corn away.
Well, I'll tell you this.
He's not even a freak. He probably came F right because you know what I'm saying. I mean, golly, the shit he be pulling.
What I think is happening is they have this age verification requirement in those states, and sites like Pornhub has decided we don't even want to mess with it because it puts us at risk of holding all this information on people. But if you want to verify your age in those states, you still can get access to adult material. It's not banned.
I know, but they shouldn't even try to take our porn away. Well, corn away. He's a racist. Like, damn, they flipping all of us the fuck out, aren't they? Like, you can't do shit. You can't do that. You know what? It's gonna be basic ass sex. Ain't that some fucking shit? And half the motherfuckers can't even do it right. You know? But damn, look at sometimes I had a porn. Men can't even hold it for more than 2-3 minutes on a damn good fucking damn day. So damn, ain't that some shit?
So is that your biggest gripe with Trump? Is you've lost access to adult material in some states?
No, I didn't lose shit. I'm in blue state, honey. We got corn everywhere. And if I want some dang-a-lang, I can go bing, bing, bang, bang, and guys it like that. You feel what I'm saying? I got a whole fucking damn team. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I got women and men. You feel me? See, shit, grandma over here got to got it.
All right, well, all right, before we exhaust the time, let's get to the actual topic of the show. Was Biden lying?
I was say that while they doing it, you know?
Well, so let me ask you though, in regards to the actual topic of the show, was Biden lying to the American people? They're saying that it takes.
Wait, are you talking about his cancer?
Yes.
Okay, let me tell you, motherfucker, something. I'm gonna roast you the fucking hell back. I hope to God you're not on their fucking side, because honey, I will bald-headed wipe your ass. You feel what I'm saying? Let me break this shit down to you. I just buried my fucking father from the same damn cancer. This shit's not no fucking joke.
Who's joking?
It is rapid.
Who's joking about it?
It is rapid, okay? My father, every fucking year, went in and got his testing and stuff. Though 2 years ago, it came out negative. His whole shit came out fucking negative. Now let me hear this, you fucking little maggots, and listen to me greatly. If I wallywop your bitch asses. You feel me?
Okay.
He was negative.
So wait, hold on. So you don't believe there's a chance that Biden knew he had prostate cancer and simply kept it quiet?
No, because it's aggressive. My dad didn't know till he got sick. Okay, he couldn't.
Yeah, but gangster grandma,
he was in pain and stuff. I took him back to the hospital. Came out stage 4 aggressive.
Yeah, but your dad doesn't have.
Shut your ass up. I swear to God, you come up on this line and you bash Joe Biden. I swear to God, me and you go head to head, toe to toe, and you won't make it out of this go time. Okay. I promise you, I'll drag you to hell and back again.
But
don't fuck with my Joe Biden.
But your dad doesn't have the health care that Biden had.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah, it does.
Comprehend this. It's aggressive. That means it come out of nowhere. It's a nasty ass fucking cancer. My father was a vet. My father had good insurance. It's the testing and shit. When they said it's aggressive, there's 4 different types. Pookie,
okay, I want you to listen to this because this is in concert. I want you to go.
I'm going to mollywop your ass. I promise you.
Okay.
Me and you gonna have pure hell.
Well, before you mollywalk me, I want you to hear this, and I want to discuss this with you.
Don't you guys
listen to this?
You bring up such a large point tonight, and we just spoke about this with renowned urologist Dr. David Schusterman on the show, who said that this kind of aggressive cancer with a Gleason score of 9 takes 5 to 10 years to develop in his experience. He said it's only a man who is medical.
Quit believing this shit.
It's a urologist.
That's a lie. That's a lie. Because let me tell you something. If he had cancer in the fucking office, they would have gave him treatment. Do you really think, dodo head, girly pop, you think he's going to stop his treatment just to fucking lie? Get the fuck out of here.
How do you know he...
I'm so sick of your ass. Now I'm coming for your ass. I swear to God.
How do you know he wasn't secretly receiving treatment?
Oh my... Come on, man. You can't secretly get cancer treatment.
What?
Get the fuck out of here, man.
What do you mean?
You can't secretly get. Come on. You know what? You're going down the rabbit hole.
Wait a minute. Hold on.
And go get your shit checked.
Hold on.
Go get your shit checked. Because one goddamn time with your dumb ass, you're going to get it. And don't tell me shit. I just buried my fucking dad from this shit. It ain't no damn joke.
Okay, nobody's laughing, but what I'm asking you is...
No, because you're calling Joe Biden a liar, and he's not.
You're not...
You could go in 1 year, not have the shit, go back to next year, and be full-blown with it. What the fuck is wrong with you?
Okay, what I'm trying to ask you is it not possible with him not being on TV, not doing interviews for so long, that he could have been receiving treatment?
He would never. You really think he would?
I'm asking.
Biden, he would tell them he had cancer because you had the treatment. You have to get the treatment ASAP or you won't survive. Do you think if he had it, do you think he would want it go into his fucking bones?
No. Do
you really think so? Have you ever seen somebody die from this shit? It ain't funny, man.
Yeah, my uncle.
It hurts him.
Hold on. Gangster, my uncle died from this disease in 2009.
That ain't no joke.
Who's laughing?
My father died and it's in pain.
Nobody.
To the day he died, this shit ain't no joke.
Nobody's laughing though. Why do you keep saying this is a joke?
You over here saying you think he lied. Do you really think a motherfucker's gonna lie about having cancer? It's the devil.
Okay. All right. I'm just.
You're going down a fucking rabbit hole. That you're blaming the fucking right wing, the fucking sick and delusion of the fucking head, man. They want to find anything and everything to blame this man for.
Okay, it was just a question. Gangster, you know what I got? I gotta move it on.
Let me tell you guys something. Let me tell you before I go. I'm so sick of them doing everything they can to make this man look bad. He didn't lie about having cancer. He came out and he said it. My dad died from the exact same cancer he has. Okay? It went to his bones. And it killed him within a year. It ain't no joke. And I'm so sick of you going down this goddamn rabbit hole with the fucking maggots.
All right, gangster. Thank you for coming through. Listen, she whips my ass every time. I brought her up first to prevent any discrepancies because there was no way she could accuse me of fluffing and she found a way to do it anyway. But I'm asking you folks, do you agree with her that maybe Biden absolutely was telling the truth and it's wrong to even question him? Do you agree with what my last caller said? Or do you agree with what the news report I just played states, that Biden has likely been dealing with this for several years and has not come out and told the American people? I'm simply asking it either way. Now, like I said, my last caller vehemently denies or disagrees with the notion that Biden would have kept this from the American people. So we'll leave it at that. Looking in the comments, by the way, tap the screen, get the likes up to 20,000. Let your thumbs not be lazy. Jay Schroeder says, do you see that she won't even let you get a word in because she knows? Well, that's on Instagram. By the way, if you want to come up live, we're on TikTok and on Instagram. If you want to be a caller in, feel free to do so. If you enjoy civilized dialogue from all sides of the aisle, feel free to follow the program if you're watching on TikTok or Instagram. Give your boy a subscription if you're on YouTube. Generally here Monday through Friday. We are MAGA friendly. Been that way since day one. Always have, always will be. Big dog. Yeah! Thank you for the hat and mustache. And of course, liberals are welcome on the program as well. We don't block, ban, or censor any damn body. We go left of Bernie Sanders from having dinner with Q. Understand you can be critical of anyone on this program, up to and including the host. Is Trump introduced any of his medical records? General Lloyd Austin kept his diagnosis. No, that's true. And by the way, what I wanted to point out before we go to the next caller, because the possibility that Biden hid what he was going through, and many would say that makes Biden look bad if they believe he did. Would Trump do something like that? I would tell you right off the bat with the picture I just have here on the screen, the answer is likely yes. Now, obviously, Trump does not have a diagnosis of cancer right now, but I'll give you this photo of Trump when he was dealing with COVID while he was president. And the reports came out later that he was very sick. In fact, they didn't even want him to walk from the White House to Marine One without oxygen. He was really sick. His oxygen levels were low and everything. And he was telling the American people that he was healthy. So would Trump try to hide an illness? We don't know because, like I said, he hasn't been diagnosed with cancer. But certainly when he had COVID, he wasn't up front either. So I do want to point that out. There is some light parallel to it when Trump was dealing with COVID. Chris Christie and a few of the other folks that were close to Trump later admitted he was very sick. And I see in the comments, Doug says he wasn't that sick. Well, then his close associates just lied about him because they said he was very sick at the time, that his oxygen levels were very low. And he was, I believe, one of his administrative members later wrote a book or something that said he was so weak he couldn't hold his own briefcase. That came out. But Trump was very sick during the pandemic. I mean, his oxygen levels were very low, and he wanted to present an image of strength. So he wanted to walk to the helicopter on his own, but that certainly came out. So I want to point that out. Anyway, looking at the comments, COVID was new and so much was unknown. Last thing he should do is cause a panic. It got nothing to do with causing a panic. They could get you out of the White House without anybody seeing it. They could have just simply had him come out in the Beast through the back door and just drove the Beast over to Walter Reed Hospital. You don't have to. Look, I don't know if you're suggesting that he didn't want to cause a panic. That's fine. But you're not helping the public by lying either, such as saying, well, COVID will be gone by April. Okay, you can try to prevent a panic only so far before you're worsening things by not telling people the truth. If you say COVID's going to be gone by April, what are folks supposed to think when May comes around and it's just as strong? Now you don't fucked up your credibility. Trying not to cause a panic, as you would say. Going back to the box, we should be around 20,000. Let your boy know. Tap the screen. I better yet show the boy some love. We'll go back to the box. Stick the ruler. Good evening. Welcome to the program. Having a president and vice president that imports their women is the best thing that ever happened to America. So you said J.D. Vance and Trump imported their women in a time when we're complaining about immigrants. Wow. Stick, are you there?
I'm here.
Okay.
What's going on, Tim?
Not much at all. I saw you in the comments. What did you hear was I getting it wrong on Biden? Do you think that Biden? Go ahead.
I think that it's two ways you can look at it. All right. You can look at it as he lied and he knew all along, and he's the reason why Kamala didn't win because he knew his health was bad. Like, if you're gonna go down the rabbit hole, let's do it. This is what the right thinks. Now, this also seems to be what the medical community is saying too, though, Stick. Okay, and what I think is maybe that farce, a sassy attempt against Trump. I don't think that was what it was. I think Biden is more of a patriot by if he did know.
What does that got to do with this? What are you trying to do?
Listen. What I think is if he did know, he seen somebody that was standing in front of him that he really knew what we have going on today would be going on. And if I have to sacrifice my life for this country,
oh my God,
in the sense of work my tail off, put black judges and try to fight against anything that affecting marginalized communities, I think if he had it and knew that he had it and he still was doing all of that, who's really strong? Is it Trump or Biden?
That's an interesting take. So let me make sure let me summarize this for folks who are watching that may not have understand where you're going with this and clarify it to make sure I'm getting it right as well. You're saying that Biden loved his country so much and saw the damage that Trump was doing so clearly that as opposed to stepping down even in the middle of what could be a life-threatening illness, he would rather work until he dies than let Trump destroy the country. Is that what I'm hearing?
Yeah, and even with the Democrats coming at him saying, "Hey man, you need to get up out of here. You know, you ain't looking too good." He still was on some, you know what? But if I leave, I'm telling you right now, she gonna lose, and I don't want that. So he fought it as much as he could till he just said, "You know what? If y'all love it, I love it too. You can have it." And notice, that's how he was with everything. Oh, okay, that's what y'all want to do with the border. Okay, I'll sign it. Just give me the bill. The bill never came to him. Remember, this is who Joe Biden was. And people keep forgetting that that's who he was. He was willing to work with you. He was willing to try to make let you get what you want in a sense too. But it's not going to go
You're painting
so
him
far
as,
that
I mean, that's some patriotic shit. If what you're saying is true, that he would, I mean, that's true, genuine love for country. If what you say, I mean, that's wild.
Trump say that's the love he got for the country.
Yeah.
That's the love he got for women, whether they want it or not. He gonna protect them. Why can't he be Joe?
He did say that.
And then maybe that's why Joe was so damn tired. Maybe that's why he was Sleepy Joe, because he was working so hard.
But what about that? In the comments, Evil Major Boo says the Biden administration knew what was going on and did nothing. It's sad and horrifying. Do you see any sadness, or do you see? I mean, because if he did know, do you think he had any obligation to tell the American people at all in regards to transparency?
Okay. So I'm gonna say no. I don't think we should know his medical business, just like nobody else out here wants the government to know their medical business.
Yeah, but
just come in and grab your medical records and tell everything. Oh yeah, we see that you had stitches when you were 2. We see that they said that you had a mild acute a psychopath at age 11. But you was cured. You can't go into people's medical records and stuff, and that's HIPAA.
I get that, but let me ask it this way. Would it affect your vote if you knew a man was dealing with a serious case of prostate cancer at the level that Biden is, where it's metastasized to his bones? Would that affect your vote at all?
Again, I would look at it how I'm looking at it now. It's one or two ways. You're going to be one of those people that say he was a liar. He knew what was going on. He's the reason why Kamala lost, because he waited so long, blah, 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 on and on and on. Or you can look at it a different way. He was willing to sacrifice his life for his country to make sure this motherfucker that's in there right now, named Donald Trump, don't get that.
Yeah, but there's
seat.
more. But
and I'm going to be honest with you. He would have won just because he was Joe Biden and a white man. He would have won.
So you think hold on. Let me make. So you think that if it had come out that Biden was dealing with a major illness, but was trying to just prevent Trump from taking hold, and the public knew that he was dealing with what could be, I'm putting emphasis on what could be a lethal illness, they would have still voted for him because they like the fact that he's talking about, I want to make sure Trump doesn't get control. You think he would have won?
Listen, big facts, and I'm going to tell you why. If Texas can vote for a person in a wheelchair,
he's not at risk of dying, Stick. No. We don't know that. We don't know that. Just like we didn't know about Joe Biden and what he had going on. Even if and this is the thing about it, they just said he was diagnosed. So what that tells me is he never was diagnosed with it. It's just like Gangsta Grandma said, sometimes it may come out of nowhere. I'm just saying. This far along.
Hey, have you ever seen Straight Outta Compton?
Yes.
You remember when Eazy found out he had the hip? Okay.
Wait.
That's all I'm gonna say. Well,
two things.
Man, what you talking about, man?
I got two issues on it. First of all, we know Eazy-E didn't have a medical insurance coverage that Biden has. That's the first thing. Second thing is
no, he wasn't getting checked up. It wasn't. He was a millionaire. What are we talking about? He was a millionaire. He still does not have. He does not have the health care coverage that Biden does. You're right. He wasn't getting checked up. We'll go with that. But the second thing is,
when Eazy-E got HIV and later, AIDS or whatever the case may be, that was still a very new illness. Even the treatments and all that was still being worked out. Prostate cancer has been around for a long fucking time. They know how to treat prostate cancer, at least to some degree. They know a lot more about it. So I don't know if you can put Biden in the same category with that.
Well, it sounds like to me that everybody's trying to say he's been knowing he had prostate cancer since he was the vice president. That's what it sounds like to me.
Well,
if it takes 10 years, let's just be honest. If it takes 10 years, in 2015, he was the what?
He was VP.
Okay. So again, if he's been dealing with it that long and he took a break, he seen what was going on, he said, nah, I can't let that go down, not again. And guess what? We fired Trump. We did.
Yeah.
We fired Trump. He got fired before.
But why wouldn't he? Hold on. Let's say he did exactly what you said. He was so patriotic. He was willing to work till his dying day, but he knew about this. He got Trump fired in 2020. Why not at that point, knowing that I may not be around forever, do everything he could among the Democratic Party to put in a successor? Not try to do a full 8 fucking years.
But guess what, Tim? That's where the third option comes in. He might not have known. It might be he just got diagnosed.
What do you? Look, we don't. Obviously, we don't know. But if you had to guess, if you had, let's say you had a pile of money, and you had to just guess which one would you guess that he knew at least months, if not years ahead of time, or he's just learning? Which one would you guess? In other words, just learning, maybe only a month or so he just found out. Which one in your heart of hearts do you think is true?
At this point, being that I don't know, I would say I don't think he knew. I think he's just like the lawyer said. He's an old, feeble man that he just didn't know, and it's not because he was just so out of it. They did the test. Maybe they misdiagnosed him the first couple of times. Every time they did the 6-month checkup, maybe the equipment was faulty. There's so many variables that can be going on with this situation. But I also am not going to forget that maybe he did know, because remember when his Secretary of Defense or whatever it was, he had prostate cancer as well. And it didn't come out until he had the surgery.
He disappeared for a while to get it dealt with. Yeah, the black guy.
So now, mind you, I'm being fair. I'm saying maybe he did that in the sense of didn't tell anybody where he was at, because Biden already knew. I know where he's at, but I'm not going to tell everybody that this man got prostate cancer. You get what I'm saying? Because I got it.
But I hear what you're saying, but all right, fair enough. But no obligation to tell the American people whatsoever, huh?
I don't think so. Because
what about his cabinet in this administration? You think what about his cabinet in this administration?
No. Nobody but him and his family needs to know. And even in his family, I would just say his immediate family. And the reason why I'm saying this is because that's his medical business. And we already had a vice president. So if anything happens to him, whether he's unalive by angry MAGA, or whether he's unalive because of his health, whether he's unalive because Air Force One went down, whatever.
I gotta vehemently disagree with you just due to legislation, and I'll explain what I mean here. Evil Super Major Boo says, no, it would not affect my vote by tackling the issue on hand. Could have prevented Kamala Harris from looking bad or worse, which is true in the end of that. Here's my point.
That's what I said.
Here's an example I give. Let's say President Kennedy knew what was going to happen to him at the library in Dallas, Texas that day. Now, he's working with Martin Luther King on civil rights. You know that you're dealing with something that may take your life soon. You don't know if the guy who follows you, which is Lyndon Johnson in that case, is going to give people civil rights. That's a huge thing that you want. You want the legacy behind it. You want to go down in history as the person that gave people civil rights. And you know that something is about to happen to you, or in Biden's case, something could happen to you. Why wouldn't you tell your administration to make sure they knew that if something happens to me, make sure you follow through on this particular bill or particular piece of legislation or whatever. You're saying no obligation to tell your predecessors at all. There are a lot of voters that he may have made promises to.
No, I'm gonna say this. You can make promises all day, but God takes you out of here, and you ain't got no choice but to go. You either gonna go with him or you gonna get sent down below. I'm going with him. I'm just saying.
I get that.
And then on top of that, on some spiritual stuff, I'm not gonna be down here with y'all going through this bullshit. I'm gonna go live in the glory.
No, I get all of that, but to me, what I'm describing is akin to, let's say, a life insurance policy. You can go in anytime, you're right. But if you told your daughter or your son, I'm always be there for you, I'm always make a way for you, maybe you put some insurance in place so that if something does happen to you, there's something to guarantee that they'll be okay. Biden could have, this is what I'm saying, you tell your administration, just in case something happens to you, that they may honor your legacy by doing some of the things you were working on. But when you say you don't have any obligation to tell anybody.
Tim, Kamala had already told you she wouldn't do anything different. She told you that.
Yeah, but
all right, hold on. Let me say another one. J.D. Vance. He's tooth and nail. He wanted to fight tooth and nail in the beginning, just like Kamala did.
Okay.
But then she ended up taking a knee, and again,
taking
she told
a
us
knee.
what it was.
You wouldn't say taking a knee in regards to Kamala Harris. You know what she's known for, taking a knee.
Yeah. Nah, she ain't known for it. That's what they want her to be known for. But when I say take a knee, I'm talking about, she said, I understand the game plan because they were all in a huddle, like a team.
Mm-hmm.
But right now, everybody's trying to, be the captain because we got this coach that seems like if he don't get results, the ones that he's looking for, bump the fans. He don't care nothing about the fans. If it ain't the results that he's looking for, your ass gone. Even though the fans may be cheering you on, he don't care. It's what he's looking for. So at the end of the day, J.D. Vance is in step with Donald Trump. When Biden was with Obama, he's in step with Obama.
Yeah.
So everybody falls in line. It ain't no, I picked him and I don't know what he's going to do. No, or I picked her and I don't know what she's going to do. No, they know what they're going to do. They're going to do exactly what we already said that we was going to do when I got elected. And then
that actually is not true, because when Abraham Lincoln lost his life, after freeing the slaves and things like that, the next guy who followed up did the exact opposite, which is what took us right back to basically one step above slavery. I mean, he really halted the progress that anything. So we don't. Your VP don't always follow with you.
And I get it, because now we're talking about Mike Pence. I get it.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
There's always an example of both, but when your stuff is, I'll say stuff, your stuff is so wrong and so blatantly racist and so cruel, it is what it is. Like, who cares if that person didn't follow behind that cruelty? Who cares if that person didn't follow behind, that dictatorship? And then this is the thing.
Yeah, but when you're talking about cruelty, if J.D. Vance came along and he did not follow what you refer to as Trump's quote unquote cruelty, he would be hurting by way of MAGA. They would not like that guy at all.
Guess what? MAGA don't know until somebody tell them what they want. They don't even know what the hell they. You know what, MAGA?
Oh my God.
I'm gonna give you this, Tim, because I know you got other people you gotta let up, but I'm gonna give you this, Tim. This is MAGA to me. Have you ever seen Django?
Yeah, the movie, yes.
Yes, okay. So in the movie, he goes down to one of the plantations and they got to get these three brothers, right? Remember that?
I believe so.
Okay, they get the three brothers. The man that owns the plantation gets mad. He go gets a mob. They all come up, ride up on horses and stuff, and then they got on these damn masks. So who's ready? Man, I can't see shit out of this damn thing. Maybe we can take the mask off and we'll use the mask later. He say, no, I can't see, you can't see, none of us can fucking see. But it ain't a raid unless you got the mask on. This is the people that we're dealing with. They can't see shit, but they still want to do the raid.
All right, I get it. Stick, thank you. Appreciate it.
Yes, sir.
Oh my God. The Django reference is hilarious because that was a funny scene. I do remember that. Tap the screen. Guys are slow. A lot of lazy thumbs in here. Damn it, get me up to 30,000. It helps out the algorithm, brings in more MAGA. I'm sure everyone in here likes MAGA, right? Tap the screen. Help out your boy. Get the likes up to 30,000. Kill Bruce said that was a great analogy. Yeah, it was interesting. It was very interesting. I'll leave it at that. A Democrat calling me a triple K, says Johnny 11. And he's referring to the fact that the Democrat Party was the party that started the Triple K. But also, my guess is if you're saying that, you don't acknowledge that a party switch happened. And we'll leave it at that. Looking at Biden hates black folks. Always has, says Agent Smith. You know something? I hear that all the time, and I'll take the next call at 30,000. I'm going to ask you guys to tap the damn screen, get the likes up. Smash that like button if you're on YouTube as well, but on Instagram and TikTok in particular, tap the screen. In regards to the notion that Biden, as you say, hates black folks, Agent Smith, and he always has, there's only two choices. If you're African American and you believe that Biden despises African Americans, your other choice is Trump. As an African American, you have to ask yourself, do I believe that if I get rid of Biden that hates us, I will be going to a party that loves us? That's something you have to ask yourself. Now, the overwhelming majority of the folks I've seen throughout these conversations for, well, probably about 10 years, I've been doing, talking, debating on, actually calling in Fox News, and probably about 5 years on internet. The overwhelming, and I put emphasis on overwhelming majority of folks that are saying Biden is racist or Biden doesn't like people of color are people who are not of color themselves. That's just my personal analysis. Maybe you've seen something different. My particular experience is not representative of any of yours, but for me personally, and I've heard it hundreds of times, 9 out of 10 times, if somebody's telling me that Biden's a racist or Biden does not like people of color, that person saying it is not a person of color. That's been my experience, overwhelming. And there are some black MAGA that says it. Fact is, there are some black MAGA that says it, but usually the person claiming that Biden's a racist is not a person of color. Looking in the comments, you ever hear Biden talking about black folks? I don't think so. In what way? Continuing on the program, I see what it says, Slike or Stike says the Biden crime bill says differently. Yeah, the Biden crime bill is like 30 years ago. I mean, if you want to go with what the politician was doing 30 years ago, then you would be saying that Trump is a Democrat, pro-choice, in favor of an assault weapons ban. Now, I'm assuming you realize that he has evolved away from those principles. But you're going to hold Biden accountable to what he did 30 years ago? I mean, Trump was completely a polar opposite of where he is now. Isn't he quoted as saying the economy's better when a Democrat's in office? Do you think he believes that now? So if you're going to hold Biden accountable for what he did 30 years ago, then it's got to apply across the board, and I don't think you want that to apply to Trump. Biden used to hang out with a Klan leader in West Virginia. That's Senator Byrd you're talking about. And I see somebody else in the comments also says Robert Byrd was his mentor, for crying out loud. And we had 30,000. Yes, we are. Take the next caller real quick in regards to Robert Byrd. You ever had somebody give a story on Trump and folks say, I need to see the whole video. You're taking that out of context. You're only playing snippets, play the whole clip. I will tell you right off the bat, Robert Byrd, Senator Byrd, the commentary you hear on him justifying that Trump is a racist, or better yet, Biden is a racist, is exactly that. Fact is, towards the end of former Senator Byrd's life, I think he died in 2010. Towards the end of his life, he had made up with the NAACP and causes related to the African American community. And people bring up that Biden eulogized his funeral, but they don't tell you that Jesse Jackson and Obama were there too. They don't bring that up. Jesse Jackson spoke at Byrd's funeral, because that doesn't fit the narrative anymore. If you start saying that part, it makes it clear that Senator Byrd is not the KKK member that he used to be. Just want to tell you that. So when you bring up Senator Byrd, understand his life is being chopped off to fit a narrative. But Senator Byrd actually made in well with black causes, and like I said, the NAACP and Jesse Jackson and all of that. They were at his funeral. So you'll never hear that coming from the folks that are saying that. Anyway, let me go back to the box. Thank you for tapping the screen. And we'll go straight to Jeremy. Good evening, Jeremy. Storm Thurmond actually had a come to Jesus moment and switched to the Republican Party. Yeah, people can switch. Tulsi Gabbard switched. Hang on a second, Jeremy. He was super major boost. Trump ain't shit. And he continues on by saying he is causing the airport shit and everything going wrong makes no damn sense. Jeremy, I'll ask you that. Good evening to you, by the way. Since Trump has become president, obviously there was a huge amount of DOGE cuts all across government agencies, FAA being one of them. All of a sudden, we're having all kinds of problems in the airline industry that were not happening just a few months ago under Biden. Do you believe that this is a coincidence, or do you believe that it is something related to the Trump administration, why so many planes are crashing or having near collisions? What say you?
It's definitely a cause, but it's not Trump. It's the fact that the airlines they're not capitalist anymore. They're not a free market at all. They've been completely taken over as like pseudo government entities.
And all this happened in the last 4 months.
Trust me, it's been good. It's like, sure, you've been seeing these near collisions happen a lot more the last 2 months, but that's just the tip of the iceberg. There's been problems with the airlines for a long time, especially when it comes to customer service, when it comes to abusing passengers. There's lack of refunds.
Yeah, but we're not talking about the chaos on the plane or in the airport. We're talking about in the air. We're talking about people almost crashing and dying.
It's not just that, Tim. That's just one part of a larger iceberg. There's been multiple problems with Boeing and other companies that have different planes in the air having maintenance issues. The more and more this has been happening. This has been happening way before Trump has gotten in. It's just that these near collisions have been happening a lot more just recently, but they're, again, a part of a larger picture.
Why do you think they're happening? Why do you think the uptick just recently, as you put it? What's causing that?
It's the fact that we have made the airlines less and less private and more government run. It's to the point where we don't really have a market system anymore. People don't want to admit this. They want to cope as hard as they possibly can. They're huffing that sweet copium like gangster grandma, and they don't. I know. Anyway, they want to pretend and that when you take away competition in the market, that and the government takes over, that things are safer, but they're not. There would be better customer service, fewer near collisions, and better maintenance on planes if it was more of a free market.
What does a free market got to do with 90-minute blackouts and radar and things like that in the towers? You think the free market would fix that?
Yes.
How? That's government controlled. What do you want the free market to be controlled, be in control of our entire airline industry?
Not the entire industry, but most of it. I know people don't want to admit it because, especially Michael in the comments, he's sucking that sweet copium down hard. But the fact of the matter is this: just like the taxi industry, just like trains, and just like any major mode of transportation, when you have multiple competitors in a free market, you will have better customer service, you have better maintenance, you have better run roads, better run skies, better run train systems, everything. Always better when you have a captain.
Why do you? I mean, you're young enough that you don't remember back in the day when you could call customer service of anything from credit cards to banks and get a human being. Now you call, you got to press 1 for English, and you're likely to get robots in there.
I'm young enough to remember that.
Okay, so when you say the free market will make better customer service, all of them environments are free market, and the customer service has gotten worse.
especially we've had less and less free markets as it's gone on. So I would say that's the exact opposite.
No. When you come to call centers, there's no government oversight in that. That's the free market. They're choosing to do this. Same thing when you go to Walmart and now they don't bag your groceries for you. You got to do the shit yourself, and the prices didn't come down at all, even though they were allowed to fire a bunch of people. That's the free market. That's not government intervention, and the service has gotten worse.
First off, I don't know what Walmart you're going to, but I have where you have self-checkout and you have
they've gotten rid of people, Jeremy. Come on. Even a lot of local supermarkets nowadays. CVS, for instance. You go there nowadays and it's one person. You can stand in line or you can ring and bag the shit up yourself. You know that. If you go flying, you go on a flight somewhere. You got to go and check out and get your own damn ticket. Everywhere you go, you're doing your own work.
You want to know why they fired so many people?
Why?
COVID was able to shut down so many stores, or is that they were able to use the government intervention into our lives with the COVID lockdowns to destroy competition.
So you're saying without COVID, they would still have clerks and things like that everywhere?
A lot more. They see, this is what happens when you don't have competition in a free market. When you don't have competition, you create monopolies, oligopolies. The less competition there is in a market, the worse customer service you get.
I can't believe you said. I mean, the fact is, if a company can save money, they're not going to give you good customer service, whether there's a government intervention or not. Their goal is to protect their bottom line. You can give them all of the free market access they want. If they found a way to do things cheaper without giving you good customer service, as long as you're going to remain a customer, they're going to do it. The free market versus government oversight has nothing to do with this at all. It's all about saving money.
Saving money is something they will only do and rip you off at the same time to do it if they know you don't have other options. If you have other options, they won't do it, especially if you have a lot of other options.
They don't care they don't care if you have a lot of other options. If you're still coming to them, or if they're saving enough money that, okay, look, if I can save this percentage and it costs us 10% of our customers, it might be worth it to still do it. I mean, they're not trying to give you good customer service for any other reason than to keep you. If they can keep you with bad customer service, it ain't got shit to do with the government. It's about making money.
They can't keep you with bad customer service if you have other options. That's the thing. We see this, Tim. Every economist on the earth would be running a train on you about this shit. Okay? Seriously?
Yeah, they can keep. I mean, Walmart kept. Listen, if I can sell you shit cheap enough, you might be willing to deal with bad customer service just to get cheap products. I don't have to give you good customer service. I just have to give you enough to get you in the door.
If it's really bad customer service and you can get the same products for maybe 50 cents more, but you get really good customer service, you're going to go there.
Like I said, this is why I keep bringing up the fact that you're young, because you don't remember when Walmart versus Target was a real thing, about how messy and trashy the Walmart stores were, but how clean it was in Target. The 50 cents more per item you're talking about. People went to Walmart. They wanted cheaper shit.
Target was still a major competitor. Walmart was at the bottom of the barrel.
Yeah, but they were giving bad customer service, but they gave cheap products. So people still went there.
Guys, you got to listen. Listen, Tim. We can see. I've seen evidence of the exact opposite all over the place. And again, you would not see. Like if it wasn't for COVID shutting down a lot of smaller competitors that didn't have the deep pockets that Walmart did, you would see a lot better customer service and a lot more people. And come on, there's a good book by Thomas Sowell. It's called Basic Economics. I think you can handle that. You might want to try it out.
Yeah,
it's a good book.
I just disagree. I don't think that it's got government intervention or government oversight is a problem. I really think it's making money. But I want you to hear this. We disagree on that, but I want you to hear this, because this is something that, in my opinion, is not getting enough discussion. Listen to this clip here, and we'll talk about it on the other side.
The nation is now in peak severe weather season, but former National Weather Service officials warn staffing cuts could put lives at risk. Recent and proposed cuts mean fewer forecasters tracking dangerous weather. Back on April 17th, Tornadoes hit eastern Nebraska, but the Omaha NWS office only launched one weather balloon due to short staffing. That missing data meant forecasters missed early tornado warning signs.
We are generating kind of a Swiss cheese weather service. We have holes throughout the weather service now that are not well thought out.
And now every living former NWS director is warning potential funding cuts could lead to needless loss of life. And the spokesperson told NBC News work is underway to restore services at local force.
Now, what I'm asking you about is, we're talking about Doge cuts. Now, this is from April, this clip is. We just had a weather system sweep across this country over the weekend. I think the number is up to 27 dead. And people in some of those areas, Missouri, I believe Kentucky, Virginia, are claiming that they had little to no warning that tornadoes were going to come through. And this is in regards to the notion that the Doge department made all sorts of cuts to the weather forecasters all over the country. Now, Elon referred to this as waste, fraud, and abuse. I'll start out by right up by asking this: do you see where some of these Doge cuts? Now, we were just talking about the FAA before I played this clip for you. Do you see any possibility that lives may have been put at risk by what Elon has done, and with Trump's blessing with all the Doge cuts?
I'm going to say most likely not, but I don't know for sure because I haven't looked at this individual case. This is actually very new to me. I haven't heard about this before. But the thing is, when it comes to all the other Doge cuts, they've been pretty solid so far.
How do you know? Solid in what way?
Well, solid in that most of them, especially with USAID, well, don't say USAID, it's not aid. But USAID was a perfect example of waste, fraud, and abuse being cut out really well.
Well, let me just say this. In regards to you saying that these other cuts are solid, fact is, Jeremy, you're just going by what they're telling you. Now, if you believe that USAID was a bunch of waste, fraud, and abuse, fine, that's so be it. But it's mainly based on they told you condoms are going to monkeys in Ghana or whatever. I mean, you don't really know. Elon has said a lot of things that have not come true. But all we know is that he's telling us this stuff. Like he told us that they needed to fire a bunch of wasteful employees in the FAA and wasteful employees in the weather system. We haven't seen any evidence, solid evidence, that these folks needed to be terminated. So you're saying it's solid, but it's really just based on what he told you.
Well, there have been independent agencies that have actually looked into groups like the FAA and USAID, and a lot of them determined that yes, a lot of it, especially with USAID, were waste, fraud, and abuse. USAID, I hope it shuts down as an organization as a whole, because they're basically.
What about things like aid to starving children in foreign countries and stuff like that? All of that was going through USAID, Peace Corps going over and treating folks who did not have access to medical care. USAID was doing all of that too. You think that's fraud and waste?
Two things. Number one, the USAID is. Sorry about that. USAID is just a sneaky way for the CIA to intervene with sovereign governments and take away their freedom. Number two, most of what USAID, when they actually did give supposed aid, it was actually not very effective at actually helping anyone out.
So you don't think any starving children or children that needed medical treatment were getting anything from USAID?
They weren't getting anything substantial.
And what are you basing that on?
So look at it. There's a good video by a girl named Shoe on Head who actually did a deep dive into this and sourced many different nonprofits that did investigations into this. But a good example of this was there was actually a foreign government building that was supposed to be built by USAID in the country. I forgot what exact country it was, but it was somewhere in East Asia. Like it was somewhere in Southeast Asia. And USAID, after a major catastrophe, came in and was supposed to rebuild it on behalf as a gift to that government. What actually ended up happening is they only hired American companies, and those American companies did such a poor job. The entire building by the native government had to be torn down and rebuilt by the actual government.
Here's what I don't get, though, Jeremy. A lot of medical professionals in this country, while they're seeking to improve their own skills, often go and work in the Peace Corps, and they actually help folks out in some of these countries. So you say that nobody is being helped. There's a whole lot of doctors and medical professionals in this country that will tell you, I know they're being helped because I went over and did it. What's making you say that? That's not happening.
No. They aren't being helped on the same level that private organizations have been doing for years. The Catholic Church has done more to help people all across the world than USAID ever did by a significant margin.
Okay.
And look, I'm just saying, you don't want, like, USAID is one of the most hated organizations that ever came out of the U.S. government, and they're hated because they're a Trojan horse used to topple governments. And
is there any examples of countries saying they want USAID to leave them alone if they're that bad and they're hated? What countries wanted USAID out of their country? We don't need you to trying to offer to help our people out. Get the hell out of here. What countries are you talking about?
Ghana was one of them.
Really? I have not heard this. And Mike in the comments raises a good point. Where do you think the Catholic Church get their money from? A lot of these private organizations you're talking about, they're getting money from the federal government to do that.
No, the Catholic Church gets its money through donations.
So they're not receiving a penny from the federal government.
Not from our government. The Vatican City does have its own deal with Italy, but that's separate, and that's only to maintain the actual nation of Vatican City. That's it.
Yeah.
Other than that, the larger Catholic Church just does it through donations.
Fair enough. I do got to move it on, but I would tell you in between our conversation, Google federal tax dollars, Catholic Church, and see what comes up. Because I think you're wrong on that. I believe that a lot of these organizations that go over and help those folks on behalf of Americans are getting aid and getting some type of benefits from the federal government. I don't think they're doing it 100% on donations, as you're putting it. I believe the federal government is helping those folks out as well. It shouldn't be hard to find folks, if I'm correct, in those organizations complaining about they are only able to do so much now since their federal funding has been cut. I would tell you, any of those organizations you think are doing it on your own money, look them up and add the word federal funding to whatever organization you're talking about, and you'll probably find out a lot of them are getting help. Jeremy, I do got to move it on, though. Thank you.
Have a good one, Tim.
You too. All right, moving on with the program. By the way, tap the screen. Get us on up to 60,000, THOU. The Vatican has its own army. They got an armory. The guards are Swiss soldiers. I don't know where you're going with that. It says all sundown towns. What are you talking about? They're I don't know what relevance that has to what we're talking about now. Even Super Major Boom. There is bad weather hitting all over the Midwest, badly, and crazy record heat in central areas like Texas, Colorado, Kansas, and had 5 tornadoes yesterday. Yeah. And guess what's on its way coming up? We're right around the corner from it.
Starting June 1st.
Florida typically struggles with hurricanes.
Hurricane season.
Everybody looks at weather.
Has weather software and hardware companies like SDS Weather.
It's a resource everybody needs.
Pulling data from a range of experts to provide real-time data in a storm.
We integrate with National Weather Service, NOAA,
an organization on the radar of DOGE cuts. Its research helps the National Weather Service when it comes to determining the strength and location of a storm. But an investigation by our Kate Hussey in March revealed nearly 800 NOAA employees were laid off as part of DOGE cuts.
How much do you guys rely on accurate forecasting when you deploy your resources?
We highly rely on it.
Staff with Cat 5 Resources said they use a mix of forecasting sources and data to stage generators and other disaster relief before and after a storm.
It's really important for communities and families to be able to prepare adequately for storms.
The American Meteorological Society is also sounding the alarm on behalf of NOAA, saying cuts could have disastrous consequences for public safety and economic health. As NOAA research in planes that fly into hurricanes to collect essential data could be grounded.
that's a little scary that, reliable weather sources.
And I want to say this before I go live. I often do a little bit of research to come up with these clips and things like that. This is one topic that I have never been able to. I mean, this is one topic that I have never seen so much information pop up for. The fact is, there are people all over the country that were warning the Trump administration fucking with the weather department could cause folks to die. I mean, there are literally videos titled, and this isn't coming from folks like myself or content creators that are online. These are coming from news sources and things like that. People you've seen on TV, mostly news outlets, and I'm talking about your local news outlet. I'm not talking about MSNBC, CNN, or Fox. I'm talking about your local ABC or CBS affiliate that comes on at 10 o'clock. The forecasters on those programs overwhelmingly are saying that this cutting folks in the weather industry is terrible because you can't give people proper warnings. They're cutting weather balloons and shit like that out, as you heard them say in that video. Flights that go into hurricanes that track the paths of them, all of that. Why was this viewed as waste, fraud, and abuse? Why was the weather services cut to begin with? Like in this particular, one of the particular videos is literally stated, needless lives could be lost. I mean, it literally is everywhere. All of these are like station affiliate videos. So this is not, like I said, this is not some content creator. You literally have the call letters of the video. Like, this one here is WKYC Channel 9. They're like all over the damn place. I've never seen any subject where there are this many people screaming out that getting rid of the weather service or making these huge cuts is a bad idea. All over the place. Anyway, looking in the comments, and yet they still did it, by the way. Yet they still did it. So we'll see what happens. But like I said, 27 people died in this weather system that just happened. And there are folks saying that they got little to no warning that a tornado was coming. And it's because of the staffing cuts. There's not enough people to hold, especially in these rural areas. There's just not enough people to man the alarms and sirens and shit. Going to the bots though. Dencal, good evening. I think I hit that. Oh, D Blue, good evening. When you're rich, you can fly around the storms. Yeah, that's true. D Blue, good evening.
Come on, Tim.
Hey, so do you see any potential for this, or maybe you do think it was waste, fraud, and abuse, getting rid of so many folks that worked in regards to the national forecast all over the country?
First of all, I gotta say, Jeremy definitely has autism.
He what?
Definitely has autism. I put my next paycheck on it.
Why would you suggest my last caller had autism?
He sounds like a slightly more autistic Elon Musk.
Oh my God. Well, then that means he may be the next wealthiest guy on the planet. Elon is doing very well.
He could be doing good in a couple of decades. Never know.
Yeah.
All right, what was your question, man?
Wait, first let me ask you this, because I see in the comments that bald chick said he's not wrong. I don't know if you're talking about my caller now or my last caller. What did Jeremy say? Do you think he said anything that was wrong?
He said a lot of things that were wrong, but I can't remember all of it right now.
Well, he was talking about the free market, and now I asked him.
Oh yeah, no, thank you. Yeah, no. In my opinion, for the longest time has been that capitalism is cancer. I think capitalism is one of the biggest problems with this country. From my perspective, anyways.
I can see where you're going with it, because the primary tenet of capitalism is greed. And when you're being greedy, you're obviously are leaving little to nothing for other people, and that can cause a problem in itself. Like for instance, in regards to us talking about this waste, fraud, and abuse, tons of people have been fired. USAID, me and Jeremy talked about that. Have you heard anybody suggest where all this money is going that they're saving and recouping?
No, yeah, I haven't heard anything about where the money's going, and I think it's kind of crazy. I was on the side of, I don't like Musk or Trump much, but I was on the side of cutting some waste, fraud, and abuse. If they actually found it, but it seems more like they're just going through and slashing everyone from the government that they don't like or that has spoken poorly of them or gets in the way of their agenda. So it's not about waste, fraud, and abuse. They're just getting rid of people. And we're never going to see that money. I guarantee we're never going to see that money. It's going to fill the pockets of the 1%.
So it could be a big heist, so to speak, or a grift.
Yeah, it seems that way to me.
Yeah, and I will say, you know, I don't know whether or not that's the case, but I do believe there should be some kind of explanation as to where all that money is going. And they were bragging about how much money they were saving every damn day, but it's been 4 months now, and there's been no mention of, well, where's the money going to go? Okay, you saved all this money. I mean, when are we going to see the benefits of it? In fact, now I'm hearing that Medicaid may be on the chopping block. We know other social programs. I mean, the things that were helping out a lot of Americans are getting chopped as well. So you've made a killing in saving money. Yeah, tax cuts, but you know, how is the actual American? How is the average American person benefit? I haven't heard it.
Yeah, and I mean that's if they've even actually saved anything. It could all just be a lie. I mean, politicians do lie about things. I don't think that's anything new. So yeah, I mean, if there's actual waste, fraud, and abuse, like I said, I'm all for purging the government of that. But that just doesn't seem to be what they're looking for. Yeah, because there's plenty of fraudsters that they've left in the government right now.
Elaborate. What do you mean?
Their agenda.
What do you mean? You said they've left fraudsters in the government. What do you mean?
Yeah, insider traders like Margaret Taylor Greene and what the fuck is her name? I can't remember the other chick's name.
Bobart? Or the other girl.
Funny story. I actually lived in the same town as Bobart growing up. Rifle, Colorado.
Oh, okay. I think Pam Bondi. Is it Pam Bondi? Is that the one you're looking for?
Yeah, that's also one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But while we're speaking in regard on behalf of the Trump administration, what about the because this was the original topic we were talking about. Do you think it's possible that Biden, now that he's been diagnosed with a serious case of prostate cancer, actually knew about this and just kept it secret from the American people?
I don't think it's so black and white, you know. I think it's possible that he knew he had cancer, right? Like maybe he was getting 6 month to a year checkups, and he knew he had like stage 1 or 2 cancer. The thing about cancer is I've heard a lot of people talk about the time frame. There is no definite time frame. It can progress pretty quickly, especially someone at his age. So.
Yeah, but you believe
it could go. I could see it going from a stage 2 to a stage 4 within a year's time. So I think they probably knew, but at the same time, I think that they didn't actually think it was going to progress so quickly or get so bad.
Yeah, but it could be. But you got to keep in mind, even if you don't think you know, there's always that chance. Do you believe he had any obligation to the American people to let them know what he's dealing with?
I think yes. In a perfect world, I think yeah, he definitely does. But I think the problem is the opponent that he was running against.
What does that mean?
Well, I mean, they would have made it a much bigger deal than it actually was. So say he had stage 1 cancer, right? And he comes out and he's transparent with the American people. Right. They're going to blow up about that and use that to say, well, he's going to, what if he dies during his term, this and that. But stage 1 cancer doesn't guarantee it's going to progress. At the same time, it can progress very rapidly.
Well, and I think you're probably right, and I think that would have hurt him, because if Biden is running for president and he admits that he is dealing with, and let's assume the whole, dementia and all of that shit wasn't there as well. Let's say he was, everybody believed he was cognitively sane, healthy. And he admitted he had prostate cancer, stage 1, as you say, a much lower case of it. The idea that if for some reason this, progresses and he has to step down, we're looking at Kamala Harris taking his place. I think that would have hurt him. I really do, because we see what happened ultimately is that a large portion of America did not want Kamala Harris in there. So even if Biden was healthy and sane, I think folks realizing that he has an illness now that could take him down and Kamala Harris is going to step up, I think that would have hurt him.
I can't quite remember right now. How long is the election process?
What do you mean? From the time you run to the time you get elected?
Yeah.
Depends on how soon. Trump this time, many suggest because he was dealing with criminal charges, he announced that he was running for president in June of 2023. That's the earliest any president has ever announced they were running. So he ran, so that's like 18 months, I think it is almost, or some from June 2023 to November 2024. So that's a little bit shy of 18 months. But usually it's a lot shorter than that usually.
Yeah, I mean, he could have found out. Yeah, he could have found out right around the end of his term and just had a rapid case.
Yeah, and I see in the comments, someone, Pope Bill says, are we assuming that Donald Trump is healthy? You do see Trump is healthy, right?
Healthy enough to fake it, yeah.
I mean, you don't see anything wrong with his mental faculties.
It's hard to tell with him, because he's been so loony for so long. So it's like, what is all a part of the act?
What has Trump done to lead you to say he's loony?
Oh man, come on, brother.
I'm asking.
Don't do that to me.
I'm asking.
Go all the way back to his stupid show. What was that show called?
You talking about The Apprentice? He wasn't loony on that.
Oh come on, man! That was some of the most dramatic shit. I know you're old school.
It's a television show.
No, it wasn't all that bad. But I wouldn't say he always has been, but definitely in his later years, he's definitely gotten a little loony. I think that's pretty apparent. All you got to do is watch a press briefing or an interview or anything like that, and the guy falls apart. So
I think the guy is very comical, and I mean, I don't always like his jokes, but I think his awareness is awesome. He knows what's going on.
No.
Huh?
That's what he does, though. If he doesn't know how to answer a question, or if he gets lost in the conversation, he does something either extreme and kind of offensive or something fun. Yeah, that's his go-to.
He does attack. I agree with that 100%. If you question him, he does not like the question. His immediate inclinations is go out and attack. He absolutely does that every time, but it's worked well for him. So can you blame him?
Hey, and I'm going to take this time real quick to shout out Jon Stewart. We need to start talking about him more, everybody.
Well, he got to announce he wants to do it, though.
On your social medias. What's up?
He has to first say he's interested first. He's not made that statement.
He said that the last that somebody asked him, I can't remember who asked him. One of the other late night hosts, but somebody asked him if he would consider running, and he said he didn't say no. He didn't say yes either. If that makes any sense, but it didn't seem like it seemed like he was open to the idea if it was the right time.
All right. Well, I mean, I do. Well, in regards to
the more it's trending, the more he's going to consider it. I mean, you know that. So
we'll see. Look, I think that a lot of his ideas would resonate really well with the left, but Jon Stewart, huh? You think that?
Yeah, I mean, I think he resonates well with the right too. I mean, that's why he's been so successful with these debates on these hostile networks, Fox News, and all these debates that he does, is because he's so good at connecting that even those guys can't really retort what he's saying.
Yeah, he would be really good in terms of dealing with somebody like Trump because he can obviously throw it back being a comedian. But we'll see. We'll see. I got to move it on, D Blue. Thank you for coming through.
All right, brother.
All right. Always a pleasure. Always a pleasure. All right. Moving on. By the way, tap the screen. Get your boy on up to 70,000 on the likes. Rod Stewart, your boy. Isn't he the one that if you want my body and you think of it? Rod Stewart, huh? Some people aren't doing their homework, says Ravonda. Is that what you say? elaborate on that. Groceries, such a beautiful word and something Americans can't afford. I don't think groceries have been priced above affordability. I mean, you may have to get less groceries, but I mean, what did Trump say? Instead of $11, you got to get two. He didn't say dolls are completely unaffordable. So I don't know if we're quite there yet. But we're talking about the notion that Biden may have actually knew that he was dealing with cancer a long time before he told the American people. Before I go to the next caller, I do want you to hear what is leading us to suggest that.
Such a large point tonight. And we just spoke about this with renowned urologist Dr. David Schusterman on the show, who said that this kind of aggressive cancer with a Gleason score of 9 takes 5 to 10 years to develop in his experience. He says only a man who is medically neglected wouldn't know about it. This is one of the least medically neglected men in the world. Leland, we did not get a PSA score on his health reports. We didn't get them on Trump's either, to be fair. What does it mean if this wasn't a new or sudden surprise diagnosis?
It would mean that he knew about it. Now, real quick in the comments, before I go to the comments, rather, you heard her say a Gleason score. I'll put that on the screen here because that's how far along his cancer is. Now, the Gleason score, I had never heard of this before, so I'll admit I had never heard of this before, but a Gleason score is when they judge the quality, or I guess the threat of the cancer you have. You probably can't see it on my, well, you might see it on the monitor behind me, but it goes from 0 to 10. If your Gleason score is below 5, it's not even considered cancer. A 6, cells look normal, cancer is growing slowly. They have for a 7, you have an immediate risk for aggressive cancer. Immediate risk for aggressive cancer. If you have an 8, 9, or 10, cancer is likely to grow aggressively. Biden is at a 9. They gave Biden a 9 Gleason score. Now, in his case, it's already in his bones as well. So it kind of negates the typical prostate cancer treatment, which could be to remove your prostate. But in Biden's case, unfortunately, because it's already spread to his bones, simply removing his prostate would not make him cancer free. So let the man have his own private business. Get out of the gas. Well, Billy Wop, if he wanted to have his own private business, Biden is a citizen now. He didn't have to tell anybody. If he wanted to have his own private business, he could have just kept it private. I want to say his administration, but at this point, I guess they're called assistants or whatever. But his office decided to release this. They're the one that decided to release his health condition. They didn't have to do it. So he didn't want to keep it private. But has he been keeping it private until now? That's what we're going to talk about. Play the Trump interview. Drones cut down trees like Paul Bunyan. What? I ain't heard him say nothing like that. On a Sunday, yeah, he released it on a Sunday also, which is normally designed for when you don't want a story to really have any legs. I mean, you want to release a story to get a lot of attention, you do it on Monday morning. You're releasing a story on Sunday night, yeah. Dencal, good evening.
Good evening, good evening.
Good to have you. So do you think this man was holding out, actually had knowledge of what was going on with him and just chose to keep it secret, maybe to help him get reelected or something?
I'll say two things about that. The first thing is that we're having a conversation about what he might have hidden from us when actually prostate cancer has nothing